Hello. Oh my goodness. Ooh, the lighting is so nice. This is actually lovely. I've got this like autumn glow going on. Not that it's autumn anymore because it's December. Hello, hello, hi. Oh my gosh, my necklace is like fucked. Hold on. Chaotic start to the video. Hello, how are you? How are things? Welcome back to the channel. I've just filmed part of a reading vlog, so if you see this outfit coming up in a couple of videos coming next, no you didn't. Close your eyes. I want to have a chat about all the books that I read in November because I read a lot of books in November and we are going to talk about them. I have probably had like the best reading month that I could possibly ever have. I read 16 books, nearly 17, except I watched YouTube last night instead of finishing the last book of the month, and there is only like 150 to 200 pages of the last book left, but I'm counting 16. The 17th can be part of December's wrap up. I am so proud of myself that I just can't believe that I've had like this much of an intense reading month. I think this is just incredible. Nearly said both words at once there. But let's talk about them because I always yap too long at the start of these videos and never talk about the books in great length, and we have so many to get through. So the first couple I am going to talk about are books I don't have like physical ones to hand to make it a little bit easier. I'll pop pictures here. First book that I read in the month of November that I don't have a physical copy of is Brigands and Bread Knives. I had the arc of this book by Travis Baldree, and I rated this 3 stars. Do you know what? Like, anyone who knows me in real life or is like friends with me on Instagram or anywhere else knows that I love Travis Baldree, and Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust are 2 of my favorite books ever, and I rated both of them 5 to 6 stars. They are in my God tier category. However, what I didn't realize about the 3rd book in the series was that it wasn't going to be about building a cutesy business and falling in love. It is more about finding yourself and leaving the cutesy business environment, and then it's more like quest and fighting based. And I just found that, like, for me, it wasn't great. So I don't think I'm going to be getting the Fairy Lit special edition of it either. I do have the Fairy Lit edition in the other 2, and if there's more that get released, I'll probably get those, and there's always going to be one missing, but it's fine because I just don't think I'll read it again. That's not to say it was bad. Like, I loved the goblin, I think her name is Z, and it was really nice seeing Fern again, because we met Fern in one of the other books, and it was really nice going back and like seeing other characters, but I felt like it just dragged out. There was a lot of traveling, there was a lot of like random fight scenes and then nothing happening. It was like the same conversations, like Fern was having the same conversations with her traveling companion like over and over and over again, and it took me like over a month to get through the arc because it was so monotonous, whereas like I think I sped read Legends and Lattes in one sitting. So that was a wee bit disappointing, but I will obviously still be super excited to read anything else that Travis Baldree puts out, and we'll see what happens next. The next book then that I read was... what else did I read that I don't have copies of? The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. I love Trisha Levenseller. This book was fine. The Daughter of the Pirate King is like my favourite duology, or one of my favourite duologies of all time. So I really was excited to read like the other books that she's had, especially ones that, you know, maybe don't get as much hype online. It was fine. I don't remember a single thing that happens in that book, and I don't think I remember the plot. So that explains a lot. As far as I know, and if I can remember, our FMC, that I can't remember the name of, she goes to try and win the hand of the king because she wants to destroy him and take over the kingdom for herself. They do end up together but it is like fake dating, and it is a romance, so of course she does fall for him, and then there's like a third act breakup, and then they get back together. I believe there's a second one in this duology, but I don't believe that it focuses on the two characters that we met in this book. He is also like immortal and is like self-healing and magical, except like if he falls in love, I believe his like powers like leave him or something. I don't really know. I listened to it on audiobook. It was like a 2.5-star read. It was good. Like, it was enjoyable. It was like a fun story to listen to, but it clearly didn't grip me well enough because I've absolutely no idea what happened at any point of that book. Okay, next I listened to 2 audiobooks this month. I do have a copy of one of them. It's downstairs, but I just don't really want to go and get it. I listened to the first 2 books in the Chronicles of Weatherby series. Now, this is a middle grade, like, young kid magic adventure series. The first one I rated, what did I rate the first one? I rated the first one 4.5 stars and the second one 3.5 stars. So the first one is about 2 twins. They both get their magic tested whenever they turn 13. One of them, the female twin that I just hate like figuring out people's names. I can't remember her name. She goes off and finds out she's like basically a really strong magic wielder and goes off and joins this school, and her brother becomes like a bookbinder, like a magical bookbinder, and it's all about his apprenticeship. And of course there are like the baddies that you have to overcome, and it's all about learning to love your own magic. And it's a very stereotypical middle grade magic book, but it was really enjoyable and I really loved it. The second one was pretty good. It's set something like 40 years after the first one. So the ones, like the kids in the first one are now grown ups, like you do see them again. And it is about a young boy and his dad who are in the circus. He finds out he's like a super strong magic wielder. I can't go into too much about him because it'll give the whole plot away. But it's very cute, and it's about him like rejoining the magic world and overcoming like, again, like the baddies and the royal court and things like that. Okay, so those are the ones that I don't have copies of. Let's chat about the ones I do have copies of. And I've got a massive pile of books that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to leave like the last like couple that I loved like the most to the last. So this is in no particular order, but here are the books I read in November. Starting with a couple of books that I listened to audiobooks for, we've got The Witcherlies. This I rated 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this. It is about a debutante season, and we have our main witch, Aurelia, who is cursed. The females in her family, it passes down, but they're always cursed, and they've been cursed by the Knightley family. Enter Jules Knightley, our love interest. They kind of band together for a common quest, and they end up fake dating and they fall in love. There's of course our third act breakup. There are some like murder mysteries going on. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was so fun, and I am definitely going to pick up the second one, and I definitely will get a physical copy probably of the second one too. I really would like a works version to match my beautiful stenciled edges. Yeah, this is really fun. So she's cursed and her magic like makes people sick, or she is not supposed to. So they do this thing called tethering. Tethering and falling in love are different. So to keep your magic, once you reach a certain age, this is why they have like the debutante seasons, you have to tether your magic to somebody, and then you both are able to keep your magic. If you don't tether, you lose your magic and basically become like human. People are some witches and some like witches can be really, really lucky, is it that the person that they tether with is also the person they fall in love with. Or like you'll fall in love and you'll marry someone, but then you'll both, like husband and wife, both have other people that they're tethered to, and you become this big extended family. It's really fun. It was really fun to read, and it's a really interesting take on magic as well. So I'm really excited for the next one because there was so much in this book that came to light at the end that I'm just really interested to see what sort of take the author takes in the next one. I can't remember when it comes out. I'm going to look it up. Let me see. I think it's early next year. artwork of this is just beautiful. The artwork of the second one's beautiful. Yeah, so the next one is called Love and Other Curses, and it comes out in January. So I'll definitely be picking that up. It looks like this. It's beautiful. The covers are beautiful. I'm super excited. I'll definitely read that. Okay, next audiobook was a gifted book. So I got this book from Avon Books, and it is The Baby Dragon Bakery. I was obsessed with the first one. I listened to the first one in audiobook as well, and I definitely think that this particular series has to be done via audio. Molly, podcast bestie Molly, said that she really didn't like this one, or she thought it was quite boring. I tried to read it like physically and found the exact same thing, but as soon as I switched to the audiobook, I thought it was a super cutesy story. So definitely recommend that you read The Baby Dragon Cafe through audiobook, because the first one slapped through audiobook as well, and I cannot wait till the next one. I can't remember what the next one is, but is it the bookshop? Baby Dragon Bookshop, maybe? We'll definitely be picking it up. I don't know whether I'm going to keep the physical copies because they are beautiful. They're stunning. They're these gorgeous colours. And because I technically haven't read it, it is like a fresh copy, I may end up doing a giveaway. And just give away this one and the first one that I have, which is like up on my shelf above my TV. So it was good. I rated it 3.5 stars. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was fine. This one was best friends to lovers. So we follow Lavinia and Theo. The whole way through the book, they like each other. The whole way through the book, they're in love, and they are just like, the miscommunication is just like all over the place. It's one of the things that I think could have maybe been done a little bit better. From the get-go, they loved each other, and it was very obvious. I think it could have been dragged out a little bit, and maybe one of them should have waited to fall in love. But they just basically avoid each other through the whole book, and then they finally get together. There is a really good, like, she's dating someone else or trying to date someone else because she wants to fall in love by winter, and she's like, does he not love me? Like, does he not, like, think I'm a good kisser? And Theo's like, oh, we can practice kissing, and I can tell you, obviously. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed that part. So yeah, it was good. It was fine. I remember the plot of this more than I remember the plot of like The Shadows Between Us. So clearly it had a good impact on me. The next book then, I rated 5 stars, and I was very expecting to rate this book 5 stars, and that is Nightshade. This was so good. Also, look at this copy from the works. How beautiful is this? Again, this is going to be a duology. I cannot wait for the second one. So Nightshade is set at Sorrow Song University in the Scottish Highlands, and we have our 2 main characters. Alex, I can never remember the name of them, but I probably should because my fiance is called Alex. We've Alex, and then we also have Ophelia. And Ophelia she's gone to Sorrow Song University to investigate the death of her parents, which she believes happened at the hands of Alex's dad. And whenever she meets Alex for the first time, she doesn't realise who he is. And she's like, oh, he's really hot. And then like 10 minutes later, she's like, oh, I can't like him. He's the enemy. So they have this like weird friendship where at the end, like, she's very much like, I like you, but don't want to date you. Like, my family and, like, investigating this has to come first. And he has just so many emotions, and there's really good, like, mental health representation for an MMC in this, because he's got quite a lot of, like, mental health and, like, family problems at home, which was really nice to see. And it was really nice to see it in the male main character as well as the female main character, because I feel like it's always the female main character that's like got like not issues, but the female main character is always the one that portrays those characteristics. So this was 5 stars. I cannot wait to the second one. Again, I'm going to check when the actual next one is coming out. If I could spell it right, that would be really helpful. So the next one that's coming out is going to be Daybreak, and it comes out in July. Oh my gosh, that's so long away. July is so long away. I don't know how I'm going to wait that long, but I'm really excited about this one. Okay. Then I continued reading one of my favorite authors, Elle Kennedy. So actually, you can't see what these books are. Let me turn them around. Okay. Here we go. I read Al Kennedy books. So I finished the Briar U series. I read the first one like so long ago. What is the first one even called? I can't even remember. The Chase. So the first one's called The Chase. I read it so long ago, like way earlier this year. It must have been during the summer, and I really wanted to just finish like the series. So I read the last 3 books in November, and I read them in tandem with another series, which I'll talk about next, to try and break up that series. So I was reading like a really good fantasy series at the same time, and then reading these in between each book to like break up the big fantasy books. So I read the Risk, the Dare, the Risk, the Plight, and the Dare. So the Risk, we have Jake Connolly and oh my god, I cannot remember what her name is, and it doesn't tell me. Brenna. So Brenna is the daughter of Briar U's hockey coach, and Jake is like part of the Harvard's hockey team, so he's like the enemy. This one I think was my favorite in the whole series, mainly because like every time I got to see Jake Connolly in the first book, I was like, I really like him. I can't wait till his book, and of course he gets one. So this one was 5 stars, so the Risk was 5 stars. Then we had, these are in the wrong order. Then we had the play. So the play is Demi and Hunter. Hunter is the one in like the first book that like really likes Summer. Dean from Off Campus. Dean from Off Campus's younger sister, Summer. He really likes her, and then she doesn't choose him. She gets to somebody else. And this is like Hunter's story of falling in love with someone else. This one was fine. Like, it was okay. What was really good about this one, like the spice was really good, because his whole thing is like, I'm not gonna have sex with anybody. I'm not gonna do drugs. I'm not gonna do alcohol. I'm gonna be celibate because I'm the captain. Is he the captain? I can't even remember. He's like, I think he's the captain of the hockey team, and he's like, I'm gonna really put my all into hockey, and then he meets Demi. So the tension throughout this book is really, really, really good. Like, and then when they do obviously have sex, it's fantastic. So that was good. And then I rated that one 4 stars, and then I read The Dare. So this one is Connor and who? Again, I hate when they don't put like the FMC's names on the back, because I read them so long ago. Taylor. Connor and Taylor. This one I give 3 stars. I don't really remember it very much. I know that it's fake dating. She's like in a sorority, and she's quite like timid. And then Connor is like this really popular, everyone wants to date him, hockey guy. So it's good. It's really enjoyable. It was good. It was like 3 stars. Definitely the lowest one in the series, but I don't think anyone could compare to Jake Connolly, and I don't think anyone could compare to Garrett Graham. Also, the fact that Off Campus is getting a TV show, I have thoughts. Some of the cast look kind of like I thought they would look like. Garrett's is kind of fine. Dean and Logan, I don't like who they've chosen to portray them. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Next, speaking of Graham, we have the Graham effect. So we've got Off Campus, and then we've got Briar U, which is like almost like the younger siblings, or like the younger generation after the Off Campus guys. And then this is based on the kids of those in the Off Campus. So this is about Graham's daughter Gigi, and she ends up with Ryder, who is like this bad boy that she had like a run-in with as kids. They kind of like, not like hate each other. They don't like hate each other, but it's very similar. So they have the school that they are rivaling with shuts down, and they come and join the Briar hockey team, which is where Ryder shows up from. So it's all about also like the team bonding part too. And I really like that you get both of their POVs, because it's not just about the romance, it's also about like a Ryder and his like teammates trying to now fit into Briar U, which I really enjoyed. It was really nice to see like that dynamic as well. So I gave this 4 stars. That was really fun. While I was reading Off Campus then, I also was continuing the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Now these books are huge, which will make you understand why I was reading like super fun romance in between. So I finished book 3, which was the Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook. This one was wild. It was all based in like an underground kind of like metro train station. There was like thousands of train lines and different types of trains, and like zombies on some zombies, like monsters on some trains, and boss battles in like weird stations, and like they were able to get some of like the NPCs to like start to understand that they're NPCs and it's not real, and it was super good. And the politics kind of started to come out in this one. I really like at the start of the book the fact that like Matt Dinniman's like, you might not understand how this map looks, and that's absolutely fine because I had no idea what was going on. It's like, imagine the London Underground but like 3 times as big with like 7 times as many trains and platforms. You kind of just have to ignore like what the train lines look like and when the platforms have like safe zones in them, and just like have fun with the story. We got to see a lot of like building and engineering more in this one, which I really enjoyed, because we didn't get it as much in the last one. But Carl is like building things and engineering a lot, which is fun. And we also get more Kadia as well, and I love Kadia. She's like one of my favorite characters. Then I also read The Gate of the Feral Gods. This again is huge. The books get so big. Like, you jump from like a good couple of hundred pages. This one's 600 pages, and the one I'm reading, number 5 right now, and it is 700 pages. Like, they jump, and I know that number 6 is nearly 1,000 pages. I really enjoyed this one. I understood what was going on like a lot more in this one. So in this one, they're all in like bubbles, like bubble zones. Imagine like a sheet of bubble wrap, and then they split all the like the crawlers or contestants up into like each individual bubble, and in each individual bubble there's like 4 segments. There's like air and land and water, and I don't even know if that's right, but like there's segments that you have to like essentially like capture the flag, like take a castle, and when all 4 segments are unlocked, your bubble pops, but you can't go into other people's segments. So like if like for example like all of the crawlers get like wiped out in like the water segment, you're fucked basically. Although once you complete your segment unlocks and you can move to the next segment to help the other people in the 4 segments. And then once all 4 are like done, you can like your bubble pops, and then you can like, I don't know, like run about between other people's bubbles or something. It was really good, and you got a lot more of the politics. So the books at the start are very like world building and funny. These are still hilarious. And you meet Samantha in this book, and she's super funny. She's way more funny in book 5, but you meet Samantha in this book, and you also get a lot more of the politics starting to arise and the rebellion, and Carl is starting to realize that, you know, this is like actually a really crap hand that we've been dealt, and someone should change the universe and the way that it's operating. So it was really fun. I rated this one 4 stars. The third one I rated 3 stars, but I think it's just because I didn't have a clue what was going on at any given moment because of the way the map was laid out. This one was super fun. And book 5, I've got a couple of 100 pages left, and it is looking like it's going to be a 4 or a 5-star read. So I'm really excited to finish that in like the next couple of days. Okay, next, I read 2 books by Laura Stevens, or as she's also known, LK Stephen. So Laura Stephen wrote Our Infinite Fates. This is about a couple who fall in love in every single lifetime, every time, and then before their 18th birthday, they both have to die, so they kill each other. And she doesn't have a clue why they're doing that, but he does, and he won't tell her. And this is about essentially you get backstories under their other lifetimes, but this book's about the lifetime that he decides to essentially tell her, and they stay alive and they like overcome stuff. It is sad. I cried within about 10 minutes of like reading this book. It is sad. Don't get me wrong. My heartstrings were pulled. And I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting this like fantasy romance story, and I probably should have like read the reviews or read like a little bit more into it. but it was really enjoyable, and it's nothing like I would normally read. So it was really nice. Seeing the way that they react to each other, the fact that she's like, please don't kill me. We find each other in every lifetime. You can't kill me. I'm like, it's all about like she wants to stay alive past her 18th birthday so she can give bone marrow to her sister in this lifetime who's got cancer. And he, I can't tell you who he is in the book, but he's in the lives of the sister as well, because quite often they grow up together and they don't realise until like nearer like their 18th birthday who each other, like they are who each other is. And it was heart-wrenching. So I cried a good few times reading this book, but I would recommend it. I give it 4 stars. Then we're going to have a little chat. Then we're going to chat about my 2 5-star reads of the month, like my 2 main 5-star reads. First one will probably come as no surprise to anyone. Silver Cloak. I've been putting this off for a couple of months. I'm really glad I finally picked it up. Silver Cloak. So the Silver Cloaks are like the good. It's like I kind of want to say like they're a wee bit like policemen, but they're like the military kind of thing. They protect, they serve, you can become one, and there's different like segments, and it's all magical. And then you've then got the baddies, who I can't remember what they're called, the Red Cloaks, potentially. I feel like I'm just not. The Blood Moons, that's close-ish. So you've got the Silver Cloak, so Saffron is a Silver Cloak, and then turns out she can do magic that she shouldn't be able to do. Basically like time weavers, I believe, if I can remember. She basically can do things with time that she shouldn't be able to do. And the headmaster finds out and then sends her undercover into the Blood Moons. So then all of her friends now think that she's the enemy. And then she is working undercover to try and disband the Blood Moons. And then, of course, the leader of the Blood Moons has like a super hot, broody son. So, of course, it's enemies to lovers. And the end of the book is unbelievable. Like, if you have read this, the cliffhanger that this has left on is phenomenal. And I can't wait to the next one. I don't even think it's been announced yet, which is so sad, but I'm hoping that we get an announcement like early next year and we get the book by the end of the year, because I can't wait. I need to know what happens next. Lastly then, again, this is like probably like one of the most popular books that came out in November, and it is of course Brimstone by Callie Hart. This was phenomenal. Quicksilver was huge, and this book was, I think, slightly shorter than Quicksilver, but it was just as impactful. So we obviously, if you haven't read Quicksilver, you might want to skip this part in case I give out any spoilers, but we enter the book where Ceres is now a kind of half vampire, half fae. So she was human. She's now half vampire, half fae, and she's like technically like the ruler of the vampire kingdom. So Fisher is like, oh God, like we're gonna have to let you rule this place, and you have no idea what's going on, and everyone's gonna try to eat me. And obviously her and Fisher are mated, and they're well aware of this now. And then we've got Carrion Swift. So big spoiler, Carrion Swift, we find out in the last book, is the heir to the throne. So he's actually fae, and he's known the whole time that he's been stuck in the human world as well. So first of all, Carrion Swift is definitely the book boyfriend of this series. I know that we're supposed to like Fisher the most, but Carrion is my favourite. Also, we have Carrion as the book art at the front. He's just my favourite. He's like the best. I love how sassy he is, and he just gives 0 fucks. His like humour a little bit reminds me of Riddick from Fourth Wing mixed with like Aelin from Throne of Glass's sarcasticness. I don't know whether that's like quite accurate and whether people will agree with that, but he's just so funny, and he loves to push the buttons because of course Cyrus and Fisher are just mated, so like they're really like touchy. Fisher's really touchy about the fact that like other people can't look at his mate, and Carrion loves to push every single button, especially by reminding him that him and Ceres shagged like while they were both still human and before like any of the plot came about. So that's super fun. So watching this book is fantastic. Watching like how it progressed is really good, and the ending, oh my god. Like, oh my god. The ending. Like, I did not even see this coming. But like, I don't want to give away too much if you haven't read it yet, but the ending is unbelievable. Book 1 ended on a kind of cliffhanger. Like, everything kind of wrapped up to an extent in book 1, and then it was just a, here's how book 2 is going to go, this is what you're going to get next. Book 2 has definitely ended on a full-blown cliffhanger, and I just cannot believe that we're now going to have to wait so long until book 3. Something I've also realised is that none of my books match. So I have the indie copy of Quicksilver, which is like a paperback that's like bigger than a paperback but smaller than a hardback. Then I have the initial Quicksilver cover. I have a signed copy that Molly got signed for me, with like Fisher on the front. And I don't have like the silver version of this, but I have the gold one. And part of me kind of hopes that the next book has a different cover, or I'm gonna have to go and buy a different dust jacket, because the fact that none of the books match means that they're matching to me. So I now can't have like the third one in this cover. I'm gonna have to like get a different dust jacket or something so like none of them match, because otherwise I'm gonna have to buy the first one. And I also have the Hodderscape like special collector's edition of Quicksilver, and I've just bought the Brimstone one. I really like this series. I don't know if you can tell. I got Quicksilver for my birthday from my fiance Alex's parents, and then I bought the Brimstone one. So I have 3 copies of Quicksilver. None of the covers match. I have 2 copies of Brimstone. None of the covers match. The main books that I have, like the original copies, those covers don't match because the first artwork doesn't match this new artwork. And I haven't bought the silver version of this because I don't want another copy. I suppose my Hodderscape versions match, and that's all that matters really, isn't it? So at least some of them look matchy to each other. It's the same way that like with Metal Slinger, I also have like the indie copy, and then I've got the Waterstones and the Fairy Loot edition, and I'm probably going to have to get the Waterstones and Fairy Loot edition of Lightwielder, and then I'm going to have like 1,000 different copies of the same bloody book. Also, if you haven't read Metal Slinger, you need to go and read Metal Slinger. I didn't read it this month, but it's one of my favourite books of last year or this year, and you need to read it. It's phenomenal. That's all I have to say. Lightwielder cannot come fast enough. Anyway, so that is all of the books that I read in November, all 16 of them. This video is going to be super long, and like the light is fading as we speak. But I just want to say that I will hopefully be back posting a little bit more on YouTube in January. I would like to maybe change how I'm doing my January stuff. I'm thinking I'd like to do like a chatty sit down fun video like for 10 minutes like every week, and then in between that I can do like wrap ups and hauls and vlogs and things. But it's nice to be back, and I hope that you're having a lovely festive period, and the next video that you see after this I think might be a vlog, and then we probably won't have anything until January. So if I don't actually speak in another video until then, have a lovely Christmas if you celebrate it. If you don't, just have a nice festive period, and I will catch you all in another video. Bye!